Hi, today we're going to talk about phrasal verbs. Let's start with talking about what they are, and then we'll talk about how to use them. So, a phrasal verb is a verb with one or two particles. A particle is a preposition or an adverb. They're very common in English. We use phrasal verbs all the time. I'm sure you use them every day, and perhaps you don't even realize it. The meaning of a phrasal verb is idiomatic. So that means that it doesn't literally mean the meaning of the verb and the preposition. So it has a different meaning. Example, planes take off from the airport every day. Can you take the cups off the shelf? In the first sentence, this is a phrasal verb, take off. So it means to leave the ground and go up into the air. Whereas can you take the cups off the shelf? This is the literal meaning of the verb and the preposition. Phrasal verb can have a lot of different meanings. For example, make up can mean invent. It can mean to increase the quantity of something to a limit. For example, my daughter often makes stories up. She's very creative. She invents the stories. You put in £20 and I'll make it up to £50. So we need £50. You put in £20. I'll put in the rest. Is get on with. It can mean to have a good relationship with someone, or it can mean to continue or progress with a task. For example, Paul gets on well with Sam. They have a good relationship. Sarah usually gets on with her work quietly. So she continues with her work quietly. Three types of phrasal verbs. The first type is intransitive, so ones that don't take an object. The second type is the transitive and separable ones. So that means they do take an object and we can separate the verb and the particle. And the third type is transitive and inseparable. So they take an object, but we can't separate the verb and the particle. Let's look at these in more detail with some examples. So with the intransitive ones, that's the ones that don't take an object. We can have lots of different examples, like I get up at 7:30. He came back in the evening. I forgot my phone, so I had to go back. Hurry up, we're going to be late. And so on. There is no object after the phrasal verb. We have a subject before, but after, perhaps we have an adverb or some more information. Transitive and separable ones. So they're the ones that take an object and we can separate the verb and the particle. I have some examples. Turn the TV on. Turn on the TV. Put a show on. Put on a show. Give the book back. Give back the book. So we can put the noun in between the verb and the particle. Or we can put the noun after the phrasal verb. But if we use a pronoun instead of the noun, we always separate the phrasal verb. So for example, we say give it back. We can't say give back it. The pronoun must always go in the middle. Moving on to the transitive and inseparable ones now. So that is ones that take an object, but we can't separate the verb and the particle. Here are some examples. I often look after my niece on Sundays. We can't say I often look my niece after. Okay? I often take care of my niece on Sundays. He looked for his keys all morning, and so on. The important thing to note is that if we have two particles in the phrasal verb, for example, take care of, look forward to, these kind of phrasal verbs tend to be non-separable, so we don't usually separate the particles. Practice now. In the box, we have some particles. Decide which particle should go in each of the gaps in the sentences. I'll give you some time to think about it. In fact, if you pause here, think about it, and then we'll check the answers together. So number one, you need to turn off your mobile in the cinema. I hope that's what you've got. Number two, can you turn up? Turn down the music. It's too loud. If it was too quiet, we would turn it up. Number three, your mum called. She'll call back later. She'll return the call later. Number four, I'm looking for my phone. Have you seen it? I've lost it. Number five, I'll throw away the rubbish. Number six, I always try on new clothes. Could you look after the baby? Let me write down my number. And I usually get up at 7 a.m. I'm sure you know these phrasal verbs. You use them quite regularly. Well, that's all for now. I hope that helped. Thank you for watching.